Friends, we will make a beginning with the problem section under the income from house property. Before we get into the problem section, let me tell you a clarity that need to be there in the mind of the student when he do this particular problem section. The complex part of it is only with respect to the partly self-occupied and partly let out, that too also on the time basis. Partly self-occupied and partly let out, that too also on the what you call time basis. You have partly self-occupied and partly let out on area wise. There we don't have much of a confusion, except that the self-occupied portion need to be treated as a self-occupied property and let out portion should be treated as a let out property. But once it is a case of time based partly self-occupied and partly let out, what the provision? What the law says is treat the property as if the property is let out for the whole year. So here in this context, first look at and understand the point here and where the care need to be taken. You consider the fair rental value of the property, municipal value of the property for the whole year, and even the selected rent also for the whole year, or that selected rent, that is standard rent. So step 1 is municipal value of the property or the fair rental value of the property for the whole year, whichever is higher. That amount is to be compared with the standard rent for the whole year, whichever is lower. That amount in the step 2 is to be compared with the actual rent only for the let out period. Only for the let out period, whichever is higher. That gives you the gross annual value. And from that you have to reduce the municipal taxes for the whole year, not for the let out period. For the whole year is the points. And thereafter that gives you the net annual value. From that net annual value you reduce 30% towards the repairs and collection, and from that without any reduction the whole year interest on borrowed capital is to be considered, deducted. So the point here is either it is municipal value or it is fair rent or it is standard rent or it is municipal taxes or it is interest. All these things should be taken for the whole year. Only thing that should be taken only for the let out period is what? Actual rent you take it only for the let out period. As long as this clarity is there, then we can very well do the problems. Please make writing of what is the important thing. Methodology of computation of income from house property. Income from house property in a situation where the property is let out, for part of the year and self-occupied for the remaining periods, and self-occupied for the remaining periods. Step 1. Compare municipal rental value for the full year with the fair rental value for the full year, with the fair rental value for the full year. Then step 2. Then step 2. Compare the amount in the step 1. Compare the amount in the step 1 with the standard rent for the full year. With the standard rent for the full year. Whichever is lower is to be taken. Whichever lower is to be taken. Then step 3. Amount in the step 2 is to be compared with, amount in step 2 is to be compared with actual rent for the let out period, compared with actual rent for the let out period. Whichever is higher is to be considered. Whichever is higher is to be considered. And this amount shall be treated as, and this amount shall be treated as gross annual value. As gross annual value. Then what need to happen? Step 4. From the gross annual value, deduct municipal taxes paid for the whole year. Municipal taxes paid for the whole year. Then what we get, you call it as, this amount is to be treated as net annual value. Next, step 5. From the net annual value, deduct repairs and collection. Towards repairs and collection, 30% of net annual value. 30% of net annual value. Next, we need to further deduct. We need to further deduct interest. We need to further deduct interest on borrowed capital. Interest on borrowed capital. For the whole year. For the whole year. So what we get is the income from house property. So only thing that as a thumb rule you should remember is, once property is partly self-occupied and partly let out, and it is on the time basis, then what you do, you treat as if the property is fully let out. Only consideration that should be kept in the mind is, in the step 3, when you look at the actual rent, that is only the actual rent for the let out period only. Once this clarity is there, now let us move to the problem section. The first question, Let me read the question. Mr. X constructs the house property consisting of 13 rooms apart from the residential portion in which he resides. And then the rooms are well furnished and are let out to the employees of a company who are paying guests. X provides them lunches and dinners. Rental income comprises of room rent, charges for lunches and dinners, but separation of rental income and charges for dinners and lunches could not be made. Is the income chargeable under the head income from house property under section 22 or the income from business under section 28 of the Income Tax Act 1961? Here there is no much of a computation program here. It is only a situation whether you are strong in your concept. What is the concept that should come to your mind? The concept that should come to your mind is, there is a concept called as composite rent. What is composite rent? When property is let out along with the furniture or facilities, then as long as you are able to bifurcate the rent between the rent towards the property and amount collected towards the facilities, rent towards the property will be assessed under the head income from house property, and amount collected towards the facilities will be taxed under the head income from other sources. And where that separation is not possible, then entire amount shall be taxed under the head income from other sources. Of course, friends, if this is being done as a business activity, it could be very well be taxed under the head business income under section 28. Where inseparable situation comes into play, there try to understand it has to necessarily go under the income from profits and gains from business or profession or income from other sources. So it will not get taxed under the head income from house property. So the question of getting taxed under the head income from house property comes only in situation wherein you can make a separation of what is a rent and what is the amount collected towards the other facilities. So how the answer is, the court has held in Manohar Singh versus CIT that where the SSC does not merely let out the property but also provides other facilities, it is on par with the activity of a hotel or lodging house and hence shall be recognized as a business activity. In the instant case, Mr. X lets out his property to employees of a company and provides them lunches and dinner. He charges the rental income which comprises of room rent, charges for lunches and dinners. Such income cannot be separated for room rent and lunch / dinner charges. In view of the above judgment, income of Mr. X from such letting out will be chargeable under the head profits and gains from business or profession. So here example what we are taking for a property let out for the next point, the point here is it is to be taken under the head profits and gains from business and profession. You just make the solution in simple words. Take the solution in simple words. As per the provisions of income tax law, as per the provisions of income tax law, when there is a concept of composite rent, when there is a concept of composite rent, that is rent towards property let out, rent towards property let out, and rent towards facilities provided, rent towards facilities provided, then where these two components are separable, where these two components are separable, we need to tax rent for letting out the property, rent for letting out the property under the head income from house property, under the head income from house property, and rent or amount collected towards the facilities under the head income from other sources oblique income from business or profession. Income from other sources oblique income from profession, business or profession. However, where both the above components are inseparable, then the entire composite rent gets taxed under the head income from other sources oblique income from business or profession. That should be the answer. Then friends, we move to the next question, and in the next question you have Lakdawala completed the construction of a residential house on 1/4/2004. Interest paid on loans borrowed for the purpose of construction during 2 years prior to the completion was 20,000. The house was let out on a monthly rent of rupees 4,000. Annual corporation tax paid is 6,000. Interest paid during the year is 15,000. Amount spent on repairs is 2,000. Fire insurance premium paid is 1,500 per annum. Property was vacant for 3 months. Annual letting value as per the corporation records is 30,000. Compute the income chargeable under the head income from house property for the assessment year 2009 and 10. Take the basic facts like point number 1, municipal let out value, municipal rental value rupees 30,000, rupees 30,000. Annual rental value, inner column 4,000 into 12, 4,000 into 12, that makes it to how much? 48,000. And then you have got no standard rent information, no fair rent information. So now The other things are municipal taxes, nothing but the annual corporation tax, rupees 6,000. Moreover, it is to be paid. Municipal taxes paid, you write. Municipal taxes paid, you write. Because as per the provisions of income tax law, unless it is paid, it will not be allowed as a deduction. And then interest for the current year, rupees 15,000. Rupees 15,000. I think with all this basic data, now we can proceed. Because under the income tax law, under section 25, what is stated, except for repairs and collection, and except for the interest on borrowed capital, nothing else is allowed to be deducted from the net annual value. So now take the solution in what way? SC. Lakdawala. Previous year 2008, 2009. Assessment year 2009, 2010. 2009, 2010. Then we have computation of income from house property. Computation of income from house property. First, of course, everywhere you take, whenever you do the problems under income tax, computation statements, 2 columns, it should come. First, gross annual value under section 23. Gross annual value under section 23. See, point of interest here, friends. Try to understand. The property here is let out for how many months? How come 9 months it is? Where it is stated, it is vacant for 3 months. But our procedure is what? First, step 1. Municipal value versus standard rent. Municipal value versus fair rental value. Whichever is higher. That is 36,000. How much it is? 6,000. How much is the rent municipal value? 30,000. Okay. Municipal value 30,000 versus 0. Because information is not provided to us. So whichever is higher is 36,000. 30,000. Step 2 you don't take because standard rent information is not there. So if you say, since step 1 amount and the standard rent amount being 0, whichever is lower, I will take that 0, should not be the case. So where standard rent information is not given, step 3 only becomes the step 2. Right. Then what you do? Amount in step 1 compare with actual rental value. Actual rental value. That is 30,000 you compare with what? 48,000. Whenever vacancy is there, what I told? First I asked you to what you call compare the amount in the step 2 with the actual rental value for the full year. Only when actual rental value for the full year happens to be the gross annual value, then you take the deduction towards the vacancy periods. So first what you do? Compare 30,000 with the 48,000. Whichever is higher. that is 48,000. There you write small note inside only. Since gross annual value happens to be, the actual rental value, we need to deduct from such actual rental value, rent for the vacancy period. Accordingly, gross annual value will be 48,000 minus 3 into 4,000. That is 48,000 minus 12,000. Outer column is 36,000. Like that we got 36,000. So this is a very beautiful example for us to learn what we have to do when the vacancy period is there. So once vacancy period is there, what I am asking you to do? What you need to do is first to do as if you are doing for a property which is not kept vacant. First you do the things as if the property is not kept vacant. Then in case if gross annual value happens to be the actual rental value, then only you take the deduction towards the vacancy period to find out the gross annual value to be taken to the outer column. So like that you got to the outer column 36,000 rupees. Less municipal taxes. How much it is? 6,000. Municipal taxes paid. That word we are looking at. Municipal taxes paid 6,000. So that net annual value. What is net annual value? Net annual value is 30,000. Next, less deductions under section 24. What is it? 30% of net annual value. 30% of net annual value. That is 30,000 into 30% makes it to what? Makes it to 9,000. Then less interest on borrowed capital. Therein you just make within that interest for the current year. 15,000. Interest of the prior year. 20,000 into 1 by 5. What is this? Let me take the facts from the problem. The problem says what? Pre-construction, that is interest paid on loans borrowed for the purpose of construction during 2 years prior to the completion is 20,000. When the construction got completed? The construction got completed on 1/4/2004. So pre-construction period interest, you are going to take deduction for how many years, friends? 5 years. What are those 5 years? 4-5 financial year, 5-6 financial year, 6-7 financial year, 7-8 financial year, 8-9 financial year. So definitely now we are eligible for last year pre-construction period interest deduction. So that amount is what? 1/5 of the pre-construction period interest. Because pre-construction period interest is to be deducted in how many installments? 5 installments. Right there. Interest for the prior year. Interest for the pre-construction period interest. Less pre-construction period interest. Less pre-construction period interest 20,000 into 1 by 5, inner column only, 4,000. Put together 15 plus 4 is 19,000. All of you are clear with the point? Interest on borrowed capital, you have two things. Current year interest as it is without any limitation. Why there is no limitation? Limitation is there only with respect to the two properties. What are those two properties? Self-occupied property and property kept vacant throughout the previous year. But that is not the case with the situation in which we are. This is a let out property. Without any limitation, it will be allowed as a deduction. Coming to the point of pre-construction period interest, pre-construction period interest will be allowed in 5 equal annual installments. Then friends, from a total 30,000 of the net annual value, if you reduce 9,000 towards your repairs and collection, 19,000 rupees towards interest on borrowed capital, total works out to be 28,000. From 30,000, if you reduce 28,000, what you get is a 2,000. That again as the 2,000 you write income from house property. And here you need to write clearly that as per the provisions of income tax law under section 25, what section 25 says? Nothing else would be allowed as a deduction other than what is specified under section 24. And no expenditure will be allowed as a deduction on actuals. All expenditure towards repairs and collection will be allowed only to the tune of 30%, irrespective of the fact whether you have spent or not spent or overspent. Is the points. Now I move to the third problem. Ram owned a house property at Chennai, which was occupied by him for his residence. He was transferred to Mumbai in June. That means for April and May, he self-occupied that property. Thereafter, he let out the property with effect from 1/7/2008. Okay, that means he stayed till June. So 3 months he self-occupied, 9 months he let out. And monthly rent is what? 3,000. Corporation taxes payable is what? 6,000. Of course, he has paid how much? Only 50% of it. So you are also going to give a deduction only to the tune of 50% only. Interest on monies borrowed for construction of the property amounted to 20,000. Compute the income from house property for the assessment year 2009 and 10. Of course, we are fortunate. Here the problem does not specify about municipal value and then your fair rental value, standard rent. So that means straight away you can take actual rent. So what is the actual rent? Actual rent is what? 3,000. Actual rent when it is 3,000. What we said, this comes under a case of what? What case? Partly self-occupied and partly let out, that too also on time period basis. So once it is partly self-occupied and partly let out on time basis, you are asked to take actual rental value only for the let out period. What is the let out period here? 9 months only. So take the solution. SSC. This is most important. SSC. Ram. Previous year 2008 and 9. While writing this only, you think of about the solution. Previous year 2008 and 9. Assessment year 2009 and 10. Rangoli ke jaise. Then next, computation of income from house property. When you enter into the house, what will be there? Rangoli will be there in front of the house. Like that only every problem, who is the SSC, what is the assessment year, what is the previous year, you have to write. with a smiling this thing face. Computation of income from house property. Computation of income from house property. What is that? First, annual value of the house property. Annual value of the house property. How do you do that? See, we need to go by the latest provision, not by the old provision. How the solution will be based with the new provision, you just write out down that particular this thing. That is what we said, you take the actual rental value only for the let out period. So that means how many months let out period? So 9 into 3000. 9 into 3000. That makes it to how much? 27,000. Less municipal taxes. These municipal taxes, we will not confine ourselves to the let out period, friends. We have to take for the full period the municipal taxes. This is the latest situation. So municipal taxes paid 6,000. Municipal, but we have to take what is being paid only, not that entire municipal tax is allowed. Entire municipal taxes are considered, but only paid amount. That is inner column 6,000 into 50%. 6,000 into 50%, 3,000. Only paid amount. So what you are getting? 24,000 as the net annual value. Less deduction under section 24. Less deduction under section 24 is what? First, towards repairs and collection. Towards repairs and collection, 30% of net annual value. 30% of net annual value. How much that works out to be, friends? 7,200. Only in the first inner column you write 7,200. Deduction towards interest on borrowed capital. Interest on borrowed capital. For the full year you have to take. For the full year you have to take 20,000. Thereby what you get? Are you getting the loss from house property? Right. Loss from house property. What is loss from house property? 3,000? 3,200. But I think you are clear with this point now. That is, once it is partly self-occupied and partly let out, you consider as if it is a fully let out, except that everything you have to take for full whole year, except that rent you have to take only for the let out period only. Then I move to the next question. That is, Aravind commenced the construction of a residential house intended exclusively for his residence on 1/11/2007. He raised a loan of rupees 5 lakhs at 16% interest for the purpose of construction on 1/11/2007. Find that there was an overrun in the cost of construction. He raised a further loan of 8 lakhs at the same rate of interest on 1/10/2008. What is the interest allowable under section 24, assuming that the construction was completed on 31/3/2009? So when the construction got completed, friends? 31/3/2009. So pre-construction period is to be restricted up to what period, friends? 31st March 2008 only. First you write about this. Pre-construction period interest. Pre-construction period interest is to be restricted. Only up to only up to 31st March of 31st March of previous year which immediately precedes the financial year in which construction got completed. Accordingly, in the given problem, pre-construction period is to be taken as 1/11/2007 to 31st March 2008. Why? Because when the construction got completed on 31/3/2009 it got completed. So what is the financial year in which the construction got completed? 2008 under 9. What is the preceding previous year is 2007 and 2008. For 2008, what is 31st March? 31st March 2008. So when what period you have to consider? 1/11/2007 to 31st March 2008. But by then you have got only one loan, because second loan is taken when? During the current year only, that is in the year in which the construction got completed only second loan is being taken. So write down here SSC Aravind, previous year 2008-2009, assessment year 2009-2010. Now, computation of interest under section 24. Computation of interest under section 24. Particulars and one amount column. Particulars and one amount column. Prior period 1/11/2007 to 1/11/2007 to 31/3/2008. 31/3/2008. First, prior period interest calculation. Loan 1 6 lakhs into 5/12. Why 5/12? 7th month, 11th month, 12th month, 1st month, 2nd month, 3rd month. So 5 months. So 6 lakhs into 5/12 into 16%, 33 lakhs, 33,333. 33,333. Then interest for the current year. What is it? Loan 1 5 lakhs into 16%. 5 lakhs into 16%. It works out to be how much? It works out to be 80,000. Loan 2. What is it, madam? Loan 1 complete karena. That is for the pre-construction period. Your current year is what? 1/4/2008 to 31st March 2009. 1/4/2008 to 31st March 2009. What is it? 5 lakhs into 16% is what? 80,000. If you have any confusion, you please write interest for the current year means there below you write 1/4/2008 to 31st March 2009. 31st March 2009. And the above prior period is 1/11/2007 to 31st March 2008. On 6 lakhs, yes madam, 6 lakhs, 6 lakhs, I told 5 lakhs, it's 5 lakhs only, even on the top also, it is only 5 lakhs into 5 by 12 into 16% only makes it to 33,333. 33,333. Friends, even when we say something, it is your duty to see that you also operate the calculator, because teacher here can only teach the concept. The arithmetical accuracy is to be ensured by the student. Right. Although we try to bring 95% of the precision, to error is human. Right. Back to the point. Back to the point is then loan 1 current year interest is 5 lakhs into 16%, 80,000. Loan 2 8 lakhs into 16% into 6 by 12. Why 6 by 12? Because loan 2 is taken when? Loan 2 is taken on 1/10/2008. If you feel that you get confusion, you write within the brackets 1/10/2008 to 31st March 2009. 1/10/2008 to 31st March 2009. And then friends, that works out to be how much? 64,000. And put together current year interest is how much? 80,000 plus 64,000 is 1,44,000. Now you write deduction allowable, under section 24, in respect of interest on borrowed capital, First, current year interest, 1,44,000. Then prior period interest, 1/5 into 33,333. 1/5 into 33,333 makes it to how much? 6,667. 6,667. Total interest 1,50,667. 1,50,667. However, friends, in case if the property is self-occupied, what will happen? The amount will be restricted only up to 1,50,000. Is it a case of self-occupied property? If it is a case of self-occupied property, write a note. As per the provisions of income tax law, in case of self-occupied property, deduction towards interest is restricted to rupees 1,50,000. To rupees 1,50,000. Of course, it is only originally 30,000 only, but why we have enhanced it to 1,50,000? You satisfied the conditions. What are those conditions, friends? Loan is taken on or after 1/4/1999 and construction got completed within 3 years. Then I move to the next question. Question number 5. Mr. A and B constructed their houses on a piece of land purchased by them at New Delhi. That is, A and B are there. They have constructed 2 houses, friends. Not only one house, 2 houses. they constructed. The built up area of the each house is 1000 square feet. Ground floor and an equal area in the first floor. First feel the situation. There are two houses with 1000 square feet. Ground floor, 1000 square feet, first floor. I think all of you felt it. Now we move to the point. A started construction on 1/4/2007 and completed on 31/3/2008. No pre-construction period interest. Why no pre-construction period interest? If the construction got completed, started in one financial year and also completed in the same financial year, then no pre-construction period interest. Write a small note. In case if the construction got commenced, if the construction got commenced and completed in the same financial year, then there will be no pre-construction period interest. There will be no pre-construction period interest. And entire interest will be allowed. And entire interest will be allowed in the same year of completion of construction. Same year of completion of construction. So pre-construction period interest, when it will come? Construction should start in one financial year and end in the another financial year. Then we will restrict the pre-construction period to 31st March of the financial year immediately preceding the financial year in which the construction got completed. But in case of Mr. A, he started construction on 1/4/2007, he completed it on 31/3/2008. That means preceding 31st March 2000 is 31st March 2007. By then there is no construction started also. That is the reason why we are saying there is no pre-construction period interest. B started the construction on 1/4/2007 and completed the ground floor on 1/7/2007. Very nice. So ground floor got started in the same financial year, completed in the same financial year. So there is no pre-construction period interest for the what? Ground floor. Then we move to the this thing. Facts. A occupied the entire house on 1/4/2008. Although ground floor got completed on 1/7/2007, this gentleman occupied the entire house on which date? On 1/4/2008. Then, no, A's case they are talking about, right? B occupied when? He occupied the ground floor on 1/7/2007. Please make it 2007. 1/7/2007 and let out the first floor for a rent of 15,000 per month. However, tenant vacated the house on 31/12/2008 and B occupied the entire house during the period 1/1/2009 to 31/3/2009. So what is the financial year, friends? 1/4/2008 to 31st March 2009. As far as Mr. A is concerned, he has occupied the entire house. That means both ground floor as well as the first floor he has occupied. Whereas in case of Mr. B, he has occupied the ground floor on 1/7/2007 means as on 1/4/2008 also he has occupied. And he let out the first floor for 15,000 per month. So that means for first 9 months, what are those 9 months? 1/4/2008 to 31/12/2008, it is in the let out status. And for the remaining 3 months, what happened? He has also occupied. So first getting the facts is most important to do the problem. So following are the other information. Fair rental value of each unit, that is ground floor oblique first floor, 1 lakh per annum. Municipal value of the each unit, that is ground floor and first floor, is rupees 72,000 per annum. Municipal taxes paid by A is 8,000, B 8,000. Repairs and maintenance charges paid by A is 28,000, B is 30,000. We are not bothered because as far as the repairs and collection charges are concerned, it is only standard, irrespective of the amount being spent or underspent or overspent, it is a standard deduction. And as far as municipal taxes are concerned, they will be allowed only on a payment basis. A has availed a housing loan of 20 lakhs at 12% per annum on 1/4/2007. B has availed a housing loan of 12 lakhs at 10% per annum on 1/7/2007. No repayment was made either of them till 31/3/2009. We are not bothered because as far as interest is concerned, it will be allowed on accrual basis only and not on payment basis. Even if the interest got accrued, we will allow it as a deduction. With respect to municipal taxes, unless the payment is made. See, basically there are 3 deductions. Municipal taxes, only on payment. Repairs and collection, irrespective of the payment. Whereas interest, accrual basis. This should be the conceptual understanding. Compute the income from house property of A and B for the previous year 2008-2009. Few basic facts you write down the basic facts. Mr. A, उसका स्टोरी लिख लेंगे हम. Mr. A occupied entire property. Friends, try to understand. Here there is a very big scope for controversy. What is the very big scope for the controversy? We will say entire house property is self-occupied, annual value shall be taken as nil, and from that nil value we will deduct the interest on borrowed capital. What our assessing officer may say, ground floor is 1 unit, first floor is 1 unit. And one floor you take it as self-occupied, another floor you take it as a deemed let out. बोलने का चांसेस रहता वैसा है या नहीं? तब हम क्या बताना? वैसा नहीं. ये जो स्टेयर्स है ना हमारे घर में, हमारा ग्राउंड फ्लोर बेडरूम से फर्स्ट फ्लोर बेडरूम को वैसा जाता. किसके? ये का. In case of the A, they are going like what? They are going from a bedroom of the ground floor to the bedroom of the top floor. Why it is like that? Don't ask. It cannot be let out like that. That's the reason why we are occupying it. Then you cannot treat it as 2 separate houses. When it can be treated as 2 separate houses? When there is a separate entrance, then one can say that both are independent units. Of course, this problem we did by simply saying that entire property is only one property, first floor, ground floor, no bifurcation. So, because why you cannot make a bifurcation? The assessing officer may ask. Then you should say, you please come to our house. In the house you see how one can go to the top. How one can go to the top? Only from the master bedroom. You have the stairs to the top floor master bedroom. So, like that, if the situation is there is no need to treat it both as 2 different units. When these two are to be treated as 2 different units, friends, only when both are usable independently. If that is the case, That's what I am saying, like a different solution can also be made for this, but we are deriving the solution with a simple this thing, because as per the income tax law, what is most beneficial to the SSE is to be construed.